Rude. That's his fault.
This shit.
Uh, Thank you so much to Rude for playing this really cool music. Some of that music was of my generation, 90s and the 80s and all that, which was really cool to get a blast from the past, if you like. So, guys, I'm gonna say again what I was saying in my little hole, and nobody could listen. Thank you so much to everybody. It has been a really, really long journey. If you think about it, our first V4 release was 361 days ago. It was Christmas Day last year. We wanted to release Christmas Day this year, but I mean, Christmas, we all got families, we all got stuff to do. So we released it just a little bit earlier as a little present for everybody. So yeah, we're there. Let me share my screen, and I'd like you to quickly see a brief presentation that I created so that you can see what is going on and what we have in store for you. You have to excuse me. I have been sick the last week and a half or something. So if I start coughing, please forgive me. So this is the glorious slides that we have here for the V4 release and the community hangout. So this is our agenda, and just fair warning, I don't have a lot of time personally. I have to be out of the house within the next 45 minutes. So if the release is not done within the next 45 minutes, I'm gonna be gone, but the other guys are gonna be here. Okay, just give me a heads up. So the agenda for now is an introduction, the welcome to everybody and everybody that's watching on YouTube. A huge thank you to the whole community, the status update, the live release, and some Q&A. All right, so regular slide for those that have been in Hangouts before. A huge thank you to our awesome community. You can see the contributors in the first link and our social media presence links. Feel free to join us or to like, subscribe, anything you can do, whichever social media network suits your needs. We would love it if you follow us and interact with us there. Again, same slide as always. Huge thank you to people that have decided to contribute to the framework by translating our documentation using Crowdin. And also a huge thank you to Algolia for indexing our documentation and providing a better search for our documents. Actually, Algolia decided to sponsor us on Open Collective, and we thank them for it as well with their monthly contribution. I'm not going to go through this slide. We've said this before, how the whole process works. But if you have any problems, by all means, reach out to us on our Discord channel. So the summary for V4, some really interesting statistics. We had 2,693 commits since we started V4. We had 60 contributors, unique contributors, 4,300,000 additions, and 5,400,000 and change deletions. These are lines added, deleted. This is a really interesting statistic that GitHub offers. And brief story here. When I was doing my computer studies degree back in the late 90s, one of my teachers that was teaching Ada, and for those that are old enough to remember the language, it is an ancient language. And let me mute this thing so that I don't hear the little pings. Sorry about that. He told me that one day that it was a glorious day. I deleted 1,000 lines of code, and I could never understand what he really meant. But it boils down to the fact that that we have when you delete code, usually it means that you have refactored your code in such a way that you do not need the extra bloat. So you shrink the code, you make it more efficient. So this one, the difference between the additions and deletions actually reminds me that. And yes, we have done a lot of refactoring. We have streamlined the code quite a lot, and we've offered a lot more functionality. We have 810 cards done in the GitHub project. That includes both pull requests and issues that have been addressed. As far as issues are concerned, we had 88 uh, issues that we've added stuff to the framework, 218 changes, 158 issues were related to fixes, and 74 issues were related to removing stuff from the code. Also, one thing that is missing from this summary is that 2 days ago, we've actually hit 10,000 stars on GitHub. Thank you to everybody so much for starting our project. Now, GitHub was a little bit tricky because when we reached 9,951, it would show 10,000, but it wasn't the real 10,000. We got to that 2 days ago, and thank you so much to everybody that has started our project. It's a tiny little statistic, but it actually boosts up the morale of the project, and thank you again. So, next slide. The contributors. I'm just gonna read the names here, and if I butcher somebody's name, I apologize. But I want to thank each and every one of them personally for contributing to the project. So Alexandru, Sasha. Uh, Actually, it's probably the same person. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Well, you go, Alexander. You got twice the thank you. Andre, Antonio, Jose, Anton, Balas, Bjorn, Boris, Cameron, Clement, Cotton, CQZ, David and David, Dreamju, Ekmst, Emilia, Fenikusu, Gorka, HJX, and sorry, I don't speak Chinese, maybe? I don't know. Christomir, Ian, there you go. Ihor, Jason, Jeremy, Joey, J Shadowman, Juri Gagarin or Jurigag, Mai, Matthias, Matt, Ambrostami, Mia, Xerox74, Mika, Mohammed, Nathan, me, Olivier, Pavel, Remy, Roman, Rude, Sergey, of course, Shum 0531, Sid, Stanimir, Stanislav, Stefan, Susanth, Wang, Wojtek, Jamroni, ZCQ, Zhang Gui, Zhang Gruiming, Zib, Silby, Vlad, and the three last guys that I really apologize. I can't. Right? I don't speak Chinese, so I'm sorry, but thank you all of you guys for contributing. This has been awesome for you guys to share a little bit of your yeah. Okay, Lan Lin is one of them. Yeah, I remember that one of them is definitely Lan Lin. Um, so thank you. All right. So we got Fred who's helping us here. So we got Lan Lin, Zhu Ge, and Li Ming. Xin or Zin? Zin, I guess. Okay. Thank you so much. to all of you guys, that this is amazing that you took a little bit of your time and helped us make this framework better. So we got our highlights. We got the PHP 7.2 will be our minimum version, and we will get rid of 7.2 in future versions because PHP 7.2 has reached its end of life. So we are gonna be moving alongside with how PHP versions go. We're not gonna let uh, the framework slide the way it did with PHP 5. We are gonna be following exactly the way the PHP moves. And I need to do something about my phone because it keeps on pinging. I apologize again. Let me put it to do not disturb, and that would be it. I think there we go. So PHP 7.2 minimum version, we removed the unsupported code that was either remnant from PHP 5.x. A lot of different extensions have been deprecated. So Xcache, for instance, is no longer maintained, and we just didn't want to keep maintaining something that is no longer going to be present in future versions of PHP. The same reason we removed Beanstalk D and the Q component, and we have plans for the Q component further on, and so on and so forth. So a lot of unsupported code has been removed, and we've streamlined it, having the ability to remove all those internal if statements to check whether this is a PHP 5 version or a PHP 7 version definitely helped the framework become faster. We've introduced a requirement. Now PSR extension is mandatory. We've introduced PSR 7, which is the HTTP messages. PSR 11, and it acts right now only as a proxy. This is the container service, but we do have plans on building a full-blown container with auto wiring, PSR 11 compliant. We have PSR 13, which is that the link? Yeah, that's the evolvable links or HTTP hypermedia links. PSR 16 is the simple cache, and PSR 17 is the HTTP factories. All these exist right now in the framework, and you can use them at any given point with any framework that you want. So if you have the extension installed, then you're gonna be able to use those components in any application that that uses or utilizes these these interfaces. Also, we did have this before, but we strengthened it a little bit more. I don't have it here. It's also PSR 3. It's the logger interface. Our logger is completely compliant with PSR 3. So if, let's say, for instance, you have a Laravel project and you really don't want the supplied Laravel logger, you can drop in the Phalcon one as a replacement. And it doesn't matter which project you use, so long as your project follows the PSR interface. We have stricter interfaces. We have full alignment between classes and interfaces, and that was one of our weak spots. We would have certain things defined in the interface and certain things defined in the class that implemented that interface. And then you would have a lot of misalignments, not only on the types, but also missing interfaces. So with the help of Zephyr and newer versions of that, we managed to get everything into full alignment. Is it 100% aligned? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you have missed one or two things, but we've been very careful and we've gone through the code numerous times. But that doesn't mean that we're perfect. So we tried our best. That's all I can do. We've introduced factories in order to help users instantiate components inside subcomponents without the need for using the new keyword and creating um, all of these new components. That helps with dependency injection later on. Rewrote all the documents, and believe it or not, yes, that is 2001, 2001 and a half. Yeah, 2001 and a half. Uh, is that the right way? 2001, 505 words and 60,000 lines of typing. Reorganize it, reorganize the whole testing suite, introduced test stubs with skipped tests in order to show us where we need to concentrate on testing. We're hovering on the 65% code coverage right now, and we are going to introduce more and more. Anything new that we introduce needs to be either at 100% code coverage or extremely close to it. We've introduced the Nanobox and DevilBox for dev live deployments and or development for the framework, and we have also much more. Brief stop here. I'm actually looking at the chat. Thank you to all for the congratulations. Excuse me. Hi to some familiar faces. I see Callan that I have seen for a long time. Fred Chu, thank you. Marilyn. Diplopedo, of course, is here. Welcome again. And to everybody that I have missed their names in the chat. So a few more highlights on the upgrades. We've upgraded Vocuro, we've upgraded Invo, we've upgraded the REST API. We have a brand new version of DevTools fully compliant with V4. We have split the migrations. We took them out of the DevTools and now they're a separate package. We're gonna actively be working with this package so that can help you with your migrations for production. We have new ID stubs. We have the new ID plugin for PHP Storm. We have Rector integration. For those that do not know it, Thomas from Rector has created this wonderful project that allows you to run get Rector on your project, and it tells you what you need to upgrade or what you need to change from one version to another, making your upgrade process much easier. We started working and utilizing GitHub Actions. So our whenever we issue a pull request, there's one GitHub action that runs one of the tests, and slowly we will be moving towards GitHub Actions. Our goal is to have a one-stop shop where when we issue a pull request or when we create our release, the whole testing suite runs. The whole testing suite runs. It runs the tests, all of them, and it runs them on various databases, because so far we've been a little bit slacking on Postgres and SQLite. So that's where we need to go. And then run the tests on the Windows environment and start building the DLLs there. And we will gonna do this with GitHub Actions, but that's a slow process moving. We cannot devote a lot of time to go through it right now. And the other highlight, the huge highlight, was we've been accepted into Pickle or Pickle, whatever you want to call it. And we need to start working on producing Phalcon for that. And that's a huge task to do. But we got plans on doing this. So what now? All right, sorry. I'm looking at the chat. Give me just a sec. So I don't I don't know how to pronounce your name. Maybe Risha. Um, Thank you for the kind words. For fun. Maybe out of the blue, but why is Falcon so unpopular? Well, it doesn't seem to be that unpopular recently, and the reason I'm saying this, if you go to packages and you look at the downloads for dev tools, there's quite a lot of, out there. So it's not 10 people using it. Falcon will definitely increase in popularity once we get everything into Peckle. One of the things that we have been asked again and again is, how do you install it? Oh, the installation is too difficult, and so on and so forth. Just typing Peckle install Falcon, that would solve everything, or will destroy that argument. So yeah, that's one of the things. And what Rude also mentioned in the GitHub chat, in the YouTube chat, Rector can detect and even apply those changes, and definitely we will write a blog post explaining this, how to upgrade your application. So uh, so what is now? We have already created the GitHub 4.1 project, and we have been adding stuff into it. After the holidays, the team is going to sit down and create a detailed roadmap. Of course, it's going to be public. And we're going to split our work into sprints so that we can finish a sprint with a body of work and release it as 4.0.1, 4.0.2, and so on and so forth. We need a little bit of work on certain tutorials. We need to start producing some more videos, and that's upcoming. We can we will definitely have more hangouts, maybe some code with me sessions where we ask the community, what do you want us to do, and then we can sit down and just start doing things from scratch so that people can actually see this, and that video can become later on a resource on for people to watch on the live stream media. We need to add to Peckle, always enhance the documentation, and more of our future plans is, we discussed this before, is introduce a data mapper pattern for our ORM, introduce the action domain responder pattern, introduce the MongoDB, which is already in progress. And in case you missed it, Tactic X88 is the one that drove the whole development on upgrading the current MongoDB driver or implementation into Phalcon v4. We did not have enough time to fully test it. We had some problems with the extension and I think the B BSON, the serializer. Uh, uh, and we needed to sort that out. So we decided to pause a little bit, wait for V4, and then we can introduce this to V4.1. The code is already there, and it has been working. Maybe a few tests are missing, but it's not a big deal. We need to introduce queues, and we need to figure out exactly how we're going to do this, because there is an interop queue interface similar to PSR, but it's not accepted into PSR yet. So we need to figure that out. And we have been working with a team that introduced that. And then we have to have the community-driven approach, which is what you guys want. For those that have been following the project, we do have a pinned post with a list of all the NFRs, and we asked for you guys to go through all of that list and put a thumbs up or thumbs down, so that we address the ones that the community needs the most first, and then go with the rest of the NFRs later. And we have Q&A. Before and thank you. There you go. So let me stop sharing my screen and you can guys see my ugly face. So uh, you should not, uh, we should not forget to thank again everybody for this journey. The contribution that you guys have had, even with just reporting a bug or voicing your opinion, whether this is our forum or a Discord or even GitHub, no matter what that opinion was, whether it was good, bad, or ugly, it doesn't matter. It actually gave us a lot of input on how to move the project forward. Um, this support has been monumental, and also I'd like to thank everybody that has also contributed financially to the project. Um, the, there is a link that we have on our GitHub. At the top, you will see a small button that says sponsor with a little heart. We have two ways of sponsoring the project financially. One is through GitHub sponsors, and the other one is through Open Collective. We don't have a limit. If you feel that the project has actually helped you and you want to contribute, that's perfectly great. If you don't, you don't. We are extremely stingy with the money that we get from the community. We do have quite a lot in the bank, but we try to use it wisely. And there will be an upcoming blog post which will show the financials of the year, how much we got and how much we spent and where we spend it to. And for the summary is that we've actually used funds to sponsor development on areas that we didn't have time. So for instance, upgrading Vokuro to V4, we actually sponsored that development. We also sponsor development for Zephyr, for bug fixes and all that stuff. So definitely, that's one of the ways that you can help. uh, Again, if you want to help with translating stuff in your own native tongue, the docs are finally done, so that's great. If you are an English speaker and you see something in the documents that it's not really, really good English, by all means, go for it. If you think about it, I'm originally Greek. Uh, Ruud is from the Netherlands and Sergei is from the Ukraine. So English is not our native tongue. And we're trying to appeal initially to an English speaking, so to speak, audience, and then expand into other languages, trying to help people understand in their native tongue. So if you want to contribute that way, that by all means. And of course, code contributions are awesome. We definitely want to hear success stories. We definitely would appreciate blog posts of how Phalcon has helped you. We have another website called Build With, where you can showcase your site if you can. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Again, thank you to everyone. Um, it's been a long journey, and we're all tired.
Well, I think it's good
And Yasu,
to point out
Yasu
that
John, that's so cool to see Greek in the chat. Yay! All right, so let's give it a go. Let's start going on with this.
yeah, let's switch to Sergey, and let's try to start the release. We're gonna do a live release today, and while I'm tackling right now, I would like to thank the core team as well, because I only joined for a few months. I joined a few months ago, and the amount of work they did in the last couple of years is crazy, especially Sergey and Nikos. So thanks for that, guys. Sergey, can you share your screen so we can switch? waiting for Sergey to switch his screen. Nico, can you explain some stuff what Sergey is doing? Do you have to leave already?
Um, I have another 10-15 minutes tops. So give me just a sec and I'll start explaining, okay?
Thanks. So what we'll do for sure is we start working on the release, and when the release is there, we also will update the stops, the EDA plugin, things like that. I'm not sure if we're going to do it during the Hangout, but I'm sure we will finish it afterwards. And guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat so we can answer them for you.
Okay, so what Sergey is doing is actually regenerating the build. And yeah, okay. So for those that haven't been in a previous release, what we have to do is we have to regenerate the build. And that is the ext folder in Phalcon. Zephyr goes in and parses all the .zep files that we create, and then it generates the C files in the ext folder. Now we have been asked numerous times, hey, why do we need to keep this folder, and we need to why can't we just get rid of it or put it into the git ignore? The reason is that we have certain files into the ext folder that are essential to the framework. For instance, the PHQL parser, the annotations parser, and the Vault parser. These three, at least, are pure C implementations and have to be in the ext folder. So we cannot just drop the folder in one go. Maybe in the future we'll build something, but not for now. So the first thing you do is you regenerate the whole ext folder so that you have your files. The second thing that we do is we actually compact those files. As you can see in the screen, the green section of where it says build PHP safe and so on and so forth, those files are generated files from Phalcon that actually compact the whole code into as smaller chunks, if you like, as possible, and it helps the reduce the size of the extension. I said this before in previous Hangouts. In the past, we would generate the code from the ext folder, and the DLL that would be built would be something like 75 megs. And if you use the compact code, it would be 1.5. So this is one of the reasons that we do it. So what Sergey has been doing right now is he has been checking whether the version is properly formed. So the Phalcon /version : get should report 4.0. So that's what he was doing, and it's 4.0 stable. So now of course, we have to do the pull request to bring the release in. Okay. Hello, Boyong. Thank you for your kind words. Diplopito. Um, yes, we had to remove the firewall because honestly, we had no idea what it was doing. I mean, great. Oh, back on the screen, real quick. Sergey is actually showing us that this is going to go to the master branch, and we have 4,000 and some lines added and deleted, and the files and all that stuff. So it's everything that we needed. We're actually merging this into master, and then we're going to tag everything. And now you see here that it's actually going to start running all the checks. And the first two little checks that you see here, it's static code analysis. This is what I meant earlier with the GitHub actions. These run now, the static code analysis runs now in GitHub actions. So slowly as we move along, in the future, we're going to start moving more and more stuff into the GitHub actions. The one thing, of course, that we would like to do is to build the DLLs inside GitHub actions, and potentially have some sort of an automation where it would actually take those artifacts that have been built and push them into the new release. But maybe that cannot be done, but we'll see. AppVeyor is great, but it takes a long time. So yeah, Diplopito, we couldn't get the documentation ready for the firewall. We will add it back in 4.1, or maybe we will revisit it just a little bit so that we make sure that everything is fine. Boyang Lam, what does it take to be part of the team? Well, we don't see the core team is just people that coordinate the project in general. We don't see ourselves as gods or anything like that. It's just some people that have a little bit of elevated status and are actually doing maintenance on the project. So it would be, us doing the release or merging pull requests and so on and so forth. We're all part of the Phalcon team. That's how it goes. But usually, if you're talking about becoming a member of the core team, it takes a while. A lot of contributions. We have to trust the person that comes in, that they would do the task or the tasks that have been assigned to. Hello to Tag Knife. It's been a while. I haven't seen you, buddy. I'm just gonna go a little bit, scroll up until we're waiting for AppVeyor to finish. So we said hi to Carolyn, Fred, Tactic is here, Julien, Yura, Yashar, Radoslav. That's a name from the past. And SO Interactive, hi buddy. Anton, of course. Well, I speak to Anton every day. So Ruz Jufek. So Incubus Succubus. Saludos. Revenge, congratulations, Angelo, Gregory, Julian again, Airball. So yeah, guys, thank you so much, Todd. I just scrolled up on the list and saying quick hi. Okay. Yeah, it's nice to see you again, Tag. For us that have been excuse me, For us that have been in this project for quite a while, sometimes you actually do see a name and it's a blast from the past, uh, and it's so really nice, uh, so really cool. Oh, Boyong Lang is the Oracle. Hi. So it's the Oracle on Discord. So now I got a name to a face or something like that. Okay, so real quick to discuss what's going on this on the screen. If you guys remember, um, we had we discussed about the builds on um, on Travis. So Travis offers us 3 containers, simultaneous containers, right? But they're tied to the account. So if you have 3 tasks to happen, as you see here on the screen, the 3 jobs. The first 3 jobs are going to be running at the same time simultaneously. The last job, the one that says at the bottom, uh, uh, development Zephyr version, that is going to start running once those 3 are done. Once you have a free container, okay. Now, if you pushed another build and another build and another build, then those tasks multiply, but the workers, the containers are actually 3, still 3. So we need to wait for them. And for AppVeyor, it's 1 container after another. So in order for AppVeyor to run, it has to wait for everything to finish one after another, right? So if you see the AppVeyor build, one is yellow, one is blue. So for AppVeyor to run, first he has to finish the first job, and then he has to finish the second, third, fourth, fifth. And if you take into account the fact that you have different PHP versions, right? So 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, and then you have x36, x86 and x64, and then you have NTS and non-NTS. You have a lot of tasks waiting one after another. So AppVeyor takes a long time to build. And as you can see, we have 2 different pushes there. One is for the V4 and one is for the master branch. So we have to kind of like wait for everything. Now, also, you will probably see the fact that sometimes AppVeyor really pisses us off, and it happens with this library, the pandoc that you saw. Um, Sergey has been working on this for quite a long time. Sometimes it has to do with their API and you know downloading something from somewhere. We've noticed this the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. It is one of these things that we have to figure out and address. And this is yet another reason why we want um, to move towards GitHub Actions. So we just remove ourselves from all these real crazy uh, dependencies coming in. So Sergey is gonna try and do a little bit of a fix here. Oh, God. So it's this Bandog thing. which I have no idea what it does, but I think he uses different ones. I think he's got a so tag knife. Yeah, he does use a Mac, but I think he's got also another one, another computer called the Tower or the Kingdom or something like that. And that particular computer has something like 150,000 cores in it or something. Oh, there you go. So, okay, that's perfectly fine. We don't really care about the about that MD to HTML. So, excuse me. So that would allow the builds to run for up there. So there you go. We now need to rebuild the PR. Since Sergey commented out that that particular installer, we're gonna be able to get everything done there. All right, so builds have been regenerated. Might take a while, Sergey, to start running it. So
check if we have some more questions in the chat.
okay, now we're checking out a little bit the run on Travis. In the meantime, I'm quickly checking the blog post because we gotta celebrate that. Yay. Okay. All right, so save here. And then ready for the blog post. And publish. Actually, I was supposed to leave 10 minutes ago. Yay.
Okay, maybe we can round it up.
I'm gonna be late again. Yes. Build with, so looking at the chat as well. All right, so Julian, I always wondered if those warnings were expected. Yes, sometimes those warnings are expected. Um, in order to understand why those warnings come up, is you have to understand the dependencies that you have. So uh, since Phalcon is decoupled, you can use some or all or none of the functionality, right? Let's say you load Phalcon in on your web server. Right now, the only requirements for Phalcon to run are the PDO extension and if you want to use the database, and PSR. PSR is a must, right? You cannot run Phalcon without PSR. And the reason being is that we're using PSR interfaces in Phalcon, and the Zend engine looks for the code. And if it sees that you use an interface, it will always try and load it. And if the PSR extension is not there, it will fail completely. And that happens with every single request. It's a part of the way Zend engine works. Now, let's say you want to use the ImageMagick um, image, Phalcon image with the ImageMagick adapter. Now, we do not have a tight relationship with ImageMagick, right? But we do call methods from ImageMagick. You will get a warning or an error saying that, hey, I don't understand what that is if you don't have ImageMagick in your application. But it's up to you to install that dependency before you start using the Phalcon image, right? So the Zephyr parser just goes in and looks at the any method that you have in there, any call, and it tells you, hey, I don't understand what is going on right now with this. I don't understand where that method is. Um, where can I find it? Or you might have problems, which is fine. If it gives us the warning, it's perfectly fine, because we know that we're gonna be relying on the developer to decide whether they want to install that particular functionality to use that Phalcon component or not. Personally, for my projects, I have rarely used the Phalcon image, so I did not have a need to install ImageMagick, and I'm using that as a from personal opinion. But I have used MB string in the past, and I have used components that do utilize that. Okay, so it doesn't matter if those warnings come up on the screen. It matters what you're going to use in the future and what components you're going to use. And that's when that binding will actually happen in the memory. All right. And it happens because these are functions, they're not interfaces. And it's a big difference between the two. Julian, do you have any idea when will be added to the Cloud Linux packages? That is the last part of the deploy process. What we do is at the very end, we cannot do this without having the tag created. Okay, so first of all, we have to do the release. We have to wait for everything to be built. We have to wait for the DLLs to be compiled. And then we create the GitHub release. We add all the DLLs in the GitHub release. We publish the release. And then we start notifying various people, right? We have to notify the guy that does the FreeBSD and all that stuff. And right then, when we do have that tag, then we go to Package Cloud and we issue the request, and then Package Cloud picks up the release from GitHub and starts building the DLLs and the RPMs. And again, remember, we have exactly the same account for all of these in Travis, and it's Travis related. So we're still going to have to wait for the 3 containers to build one after another. And for the Package Cloud releases, you're looking at a good number of RPMs and debs to be built. So that's going to take time, but it is going to be right after this. Okay. Okay, so coming back to the chat, the build width, we do have a better skin for it, and we are gonna put it in. And there are a few projects that have not been ported from the old version. At some point, I'm gonna do that, or whoever wants to help, more than happy uh, to accept help on that. Julian, that's great that you've been using Phalcon since V1. That is awesome. Um, and yet, for the Oracle or Boyan, if I mentioned this before, if you guys have a success story on how Phalcon has actually helped you, by all means, send it to us and we will showcase it in our blog. We're more than happy to do that for you guys. Maybe give you a little bit of traffic to your website, or maybe produce some traffic to your client's website. But it's definitely something that we would love to do. So what Sergey is doing right now is he's actually looking at the change log, and we need to add that in there. Um, Actually, that's the one. So excuse me. So this is how we're building the pre-release, and we need to target the master branch, of course. And this is we're gonna have to wait for Upveyor to build the DLLs so that we can make sure that all these are ready before Package Cloud starts working. For Tag Knife, um, yeah, I can see Zephyr having a 1.0 release at some point in the future. For now, um, by no means, just like any other language, Zephyr is not perfect. It does have its bugs. It does have its functionality that is required, and it's not there. For instance, we have work going on for async, but it's not there yet. It might take a while until we get to that point. Um, uh, there is the other requirement that people have been requesting for Zephyr to start accepting references, and so on and so forth. So it's quite a few things that we have to do. Um, Now, as far as what Sergey is right now, Sergey is streaming his screen Andromedas. So Sergey is actually showing our V4 project, and you see that we have nothing in there to do and nothing in the progress, and we were done. We were finished with this. We have actually 4 pull requests. The three ones below that are for the 4.1 release. So we'll definitely need to rebase those once we get to that point and we start 4.1. And we'll have to see whether we're going to introduce all that functionality in not necessarily 4.1, but maybe 4.0 point something. I don't know. We'll have to decide what to do. Of course, we have to follow SEMVer, semantic versioning, and just to ensure that we don't break any functionality or backwards compatibility with people that decided to go through version 4. We have discussed this in the past. And by the way, you're actually looking right now on the screen the Upveyor build. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them that we're waiting for them to be compiled, and and what Sergey is saying is that we need to wait for 35 to 40 minutes for Upveyor builds. Yes. What I mentioned before, We have two up there builds. One is the commit in the 4.0 branch, and the second one is in the master branch. So we have to, yeah, it's the PR. So we have to wait for those. And once those are complete, then we can pick up the DLLs and put them in the release. And once that is done and we have pushed everything uh, upstream, then we can start building the RPMs and DLLs. It is a slow process, guys. I mean, it's not it's not a very easy thing to do. You're looking at 70 to 80 minutes. Um, yeah, we did contact. Uh, yes, definitely, Sergey. Sorry, Sergey is saying possibly we need to investigate how to migrate on actions for the DLLs. Yes, this is something I mentioned before. We do want to go um, and try and use GitHub Actions for this. I did contact somebody that is a little bit more versed into GitHub Actions uh, than um, than uh, that has been working with GitHub Actions. And our request was, well, what would it take money wise for you to transfer all our builds into GitHub Actions? And the guy said, it's going to take me a week and it's going to cost $2,000. So clearly, there's no way in hell that personally I'm going to authorize a $2,000 expense just for that. Um, I thought it was an exorbitant amount of money to spend, and I don't want to do this to the community because this is your money too. We just use it in order to make the project better. None of us is getting any funds back or something like that. Maybe in the future, but for now, no. So uh, so the idea is to try and figure out how to build the DLLs on the Windows environments that GitHub Actions offers, and that's gonna definitely speed up the process because GitHub actually works on minutes. It doesn't work necessarily uh, on processors or containers. We did contact Travis if they were willing to sponsor us, and they pretty much told us no, that's all you get, and if you want to, it's going to cost X amount per month, and we didn't think that that was going to be something that we would justify the expense for. So yeah, and yes, Diplopedo V4 is compatible with 7.4. All the tests passed, and everything is fine. Um, we did not want to do the same mistake that we did back with V3. Um, so with V3, we had PHP 7, and it took us months to get to have V3 compatible with PHP 7. And a lot of people got discouraged. So we were not going to do the same mistake as before. So we made sure that Phalcon V4 is compatible with 7.4. And this is why I mentioned earlier in the slides that we're going to be following PHP much, much closer. Okay. Very quickly, Tag Knife, thank you so much on the suggestion about Sua Musica. Do you mind sending that to either of us on Discord or something so that we can make the contact? Because most likely the chat is not going to be here for YouTube. So Merlin, yep, that's great. Andromedus, can't wait till tomorrow for the DLLs. Um, yeah, those applications, the Invo, REST API, and so on and so forth, they're ready. Uh, Boyon Lang, GitHub Actions, yes, it is learnable. It has different languages that you can use. I think you can use TypeScript, JavaScript, Dockerized containers, and all that stuff. Callan, are you planning on creating official Docker images for different configurations? Yes, definitely. We do have an account uh, with GitLab with I don't know how many thousands and thousands of minutes. And Anton, aka Jackerson, has already done the groundwork for Docker images to be built the minute you have a brand new release, and they can be built nightly. So there's plenty of that coming up, um, and yeah, we're gonna have all sorts of Docker-based images for different configurations. The in the past, uh, any Docker image that we were offering was manually created, so somebody would have to go and do clickety click and update, and of course that gets old very quickly because you have a million things to do. You're not going to remember to do Docker. But now with the GitLab automation, uh, we can be 100% sure that everything is done for us, and then people can take advantage of all of these images. All right, so guys, um, I think we can wrap this up, unless you guys have any other questions that we can answer in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And we're gonna offer more updates on Discord, and also we're gonna offer um, uh, social media updates with Twitter and Gab and all those guys. Um, it does take a long time for everything to be built, so it is going to be interesting. So Ruth, I don't know if you want to comment anything
No,
else.
I think we have to wait for all the automation to finish up and make sure we can release the V4. We'll post some updates in Discord, and if you have questions, you can also drop them in Discord. We'll try to answer them, or Sergey or Anton, because you're gonna see some family, I think. So yeah, I think we can close the chat if all the questions are answered. Just a big thank you to all our contributors. I want to thank everybody who's attending. And well, we're curious what you're going to do with V4, so let us know.
Okay, one last answer to Boyoung. Do some of the sponsors use Phalcon? From the ones that I have seen in the Open Collective, um, I can recognize a lot of names of people that have been using and have been contributing to Phalcon, either with questions or suggestions, or in general contributions to the code. Um, but I know 100% for sure, for 100% that two of those sponsors are using it. One of them is Rude, and one of them is me. So so yeah, I'm pretty sure uh, they do. And do you know any web agency that uses Phalcon as their core stack? I can tell you for sure that the U.S. government is using Phalcon, and this is a project I've been working on. And this has to do with the air traffic controllers in the United States. the people that land the planes or take them off. The application that has been built for them and is continuously being worked on handles their training. It's a full-blown document management system to handle the training of every traffic controller. So if you think on how many towers exist and how many people per tower, then you have a lot of people using the application. For now, I think we are at 35 towers, 40 towers or something. But by the end of next year, we're going to have all 300 and some, how many they are. So you're going to be looking at least um, at least 5 to 6 thousand users, and most of them concurrently. So Andromeda's, it doesn't matter. Merlin, I'll have to ask permission if I can post something like that, because it is the U.S. government. But still, uh, uh, I could just tell you this, that this is an application that I've used. I'm not disclosing any crazy things with regards to that. So Andromeda's. I've been using Phalcon for all my PHP projects since my very first. I'm not a sponsor. It doesn't matter if you are a sponsor or not. Um, if you are a sponsor, that's great. Uh, the best thing you can do is actually spread the word. Share the links that we have on our social media. Spread the word out for Phalcon. That's the best thing you can do. Monetary contributions are not always the best way forward. You might have thousands and thousands in the bank, but if nobody knows about your project, what are you going to do? Nothing really. So um, the best thing you can do is spread the word for Phalcon and contribute by offering um, opinions and all that. And Rude just showed it again. Sorry, I missed when you were saying, when you were doing that. So Rude actually opened the beer, the celebration. I think it's beer, isn't it? You need to change
It's
your
not
screen, man.
it's not open yet,
You
but I
need to
will
change
open it.
the screen.
It's the Funky Falcon. It's from a brewery here in Holland, so it's really awesome that they make special Falcon beer for us. So next time we have a hangout in Amsterdam, we'll make sure we get enough beers of this
There
kind.
you go.
So
Funky Falcon.
Funky Falcon.
Excellent.
That's cool, huh? A bottle for today. But let's make it official then.
Yes, it is official. There you go.
Cheers, guys, on all the great work.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys.
That's a really good beer.
All right. Cheers, buddy. I'm just drinking coffee here, so
Yeah, okay, it's morning for
I
you.
cannot drink anything. I'll be driving after that, and plus, I'm not 100% sure. I did mention that I was sick and I'm still sick. Um, so okay, last question. Do you plan to provide commercial support for those who need it in the future? Yes. It's one of our dreams to create some sort of a Falcon based, or a Falcon company will be based somewhere, and we can offer support, but we're not there yet. And we will be there once we get to the point where we want the framework to be. Uh, there was a lot of old code and a lot of copy paste code in V3 that came from V2, that came from V1. And V4 has been pretty much the tidying up and putting a solid foundation on where we want to move forward. Um, Maybe on V5, I don't know. But we do have a plan on where we want the framework to go. I did mention the ADR pattern. I did mention the data mapper for the database, and so on and so forth. These are plans that we have, and we would like to get them there. Now, will we be able to? Maybe yes, maybe no. But the point is, the first big step has already been made with this version by introducing just introducing PSR to the framework allows us to offer uh, much more flexibility uh, to people. So the Oracle, if you want to, or Boyoung, send me a message in Discord with your address, and I'll send you some stickers. I'm more than happy to do that. All right. So poor Sergey has been fighting with all the builds and everything. It's crazy how it's going. I think he's pretty much thinking of of getting a container on your own. ADR would be all right. So for Andromeda's, for initially, yes, we're gonna have them side by side, the ADR and MVC. Um, the transition period would be long, really long. And again, the any we're talking about the data mapper pattern also for the database where we currently have active record. We're not going to dump one and introduce the second one in one version. We're going to have them running at the same time, side by side. And slowly, after getting really good statistics from both, we're going to transition to one. My best, not necessarily guess, but experience is that data mapper is much faster and much better. But um, I'd like the community to see that too. So we're going to have at least one version where we're going to have both patterns running side by side in order to give people the ability to slowly move towards the new stuff. And this way, the upgrade path would be much, much better and much easier and less painful. So that's going to happen. So I think it's time to wrap this up. I know poor Sergey is just getting killed right there with waiting for the builds. All right, Rude. I have posted the article on the blog. Excuse me.
No worries.
If you can add uh, um, the image.
Yeah, I will do.
Or an image. You're the guy that does all the graphics and all that stuff. I really need to leave, guys. I'm already I'm already 45 minutes late. So hey, I'm Greek. There's a universal time, and then there's GMT, which is Greek maybe time. So maybe we'll get there by 4.
I think you live same time zone in Spain.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why we live longer apparently, because we don't worry that much about time. Guys, thank you so much. I love seeing it, all of you. I love seeing some names from the past. Thank you all. And we did it. Congratulations to everybody. All right, I'm signing off. Ruth, you take the reins, and
yeah, we're gonna shut down the stream, and we'll continue on Discord. So please, everybody, if you want to keep up what's happening, join us on Discord. We'll post updates. We'll post some links that you can follow the process of our CI process, and we'll make sure it's released tonight. And we will also update all the other packages like DevTools, the IDE stops, things like that. Thanks for attending, and thank you, everybody. Hope to see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Gosh. Where's that?